I'm back, baby. We're back at it again, here with the booktube bitch. I'm feeling so motherfucking extra today, you have no idea. I have that much makeup on, I don't even know who I am anymore. I haven't worn like this much makeup in so long, like I even cream contoured and shit. Who am I? Dunno. I've slowly been working through all the tropes. I don't know if you guys have noticed, like I've done taboo and forbidden, I've done age gap, I've done mafia, and in my last video that I uploaded, a bunch of you asked me to do a book recommendations video on all the bad boy, good girl books I have read. Me being me, listen to you guys, and that's what we're doing today. I just want to say right now, hun, like pretty much all the books that I recommend have the bad boy, good girl element. I love a bad boy. The bad boys that I like, bitch, are not teenage fucking misfits, you know what I mean? You know, boys that are like doing drugs and slipping around and like being a rebel. No. My type of bad boy is a mafia man, a criminal, a murderer. That's what I want in my books. That's the type of bad boys I like. So with that being said, today I'm just gonna go through all the good girl, bad boy books that I have read. I don't really read these books that much anymore. A lot of them are like high school based, college based, or like uni based. But you know, that's not really my vibe anymore. But I do have some solid good recommendations for this trope that I have read months ago. Some of these books are going to be smut-worthy. They're going to be steamy. They're going to be sexual. There's going to be a lot of tension, chemistry, all the good shit. The shit that I talk about all the time. Some of them that I'm going to recommend, though, are a little bit YA, so like young adult, which means like they're not going to be as smut-worthy as all the other ones, but they are good reads. Okay, so let's just keep it 100% here. Let's keep it fucking real. The first book I'm going to recommend is After by Anna Todd. Hun, if you haven't read After by Anna Todd, you need to seriously reevaluate your life and figure out where you went wrong. Majority of humankind has read After and seen the movie. I only read After about 6 months ago, and the reason why I started all this shit and started doing booktube videos and started reading so much was because of this book. This book fucking rocked my world. First off, I watched the movie and then I read the books, and it just opened up the gate. Hardin is the definition of a motherfucking bad boy, and he is the steamiest fucking book character I've ever come across. He is still my like #1 book boyfriend. And after you watch the movie as well, hun, like that actor hero, how you going, bitch? Nice to meet ya. I'm Mary, living in Australia. I'm a little bit older than you, but we can work something out. Tessa is a good girl. Like, she is the definition of a good girl. After is the definition of bad boy, good girl. There's 4 books. The second movie's coming out soon. I'm not going to ramble too much about the actual storyline. I had to recommend it in this video because if you haven't, you need to. And this is where it all started for me. This book series. So the second book that I came across when I was looking for something that was similar to After with that bad boy, good girl trope type of thing, I came across Beautiful Disaster by Jamie McGuire. This book came out before After from what I have researched, and this is like, the storyline's pretty fucking similar, I'm not gonna lie. You know, bad boy, good girl, they're in college. If you're looking for a classic good girl, bad boy book with steam, with drama, with mad chemistry, Beautiful Disaster is where it is at if you haven't read it already. I'm sure if you are a romance reader, you've read After and Beautiful Disaster, but again, I just had to mention these 2 books because they're like the essence of the bad boy, good girl trope. So my next recommendation is Punk 57 from Penelope Douglas. I love Penelope Douglas. I think she is one of the best writers when it comes to romance. She is so creative with her writing. The shit that she comes up with, I'm like, how do you even do that? Out of all her books, this isn't my favorite book from her, but it is my favorite book for this trope. So Punk 57 is about this girl and this guy who become pen pals when they're younger. They know nothing about each other. They only know their first names. And as they write to one another via pen paling, they decide not to look up on Instagram or social media or Facebook what they look like. When they write into one another, they literally open their hearts to one another. They talk about all their deepest, darkest secrets and stuff like that, and they end up like becoming really close friends without even knowing who each other are. At one point in the book, they end up going to school together. One of them figures out who the other one is, but the other one has no idea. And the person that knows who that person is ends up not even liking that person and is like shocked that it's the same person that they've been pen paling to for years. End up kind of having like a bit of a bully type of relationship because they obviously do not get along. This book was such a good read. I pretty much love everything that Penelope Douglas writes, and if you have never read anything from her, please check her out because she writes the best shit, and her sex scenes are always really good. She knows how to write sex. She's one of the top authors that I reckon write sex the best. I don't think many people can write about sex like Penelope Douglas does. Next up, we've got Stepbrother Dearest by Penelope Ward. I don't really recommend Penelope Ward that often here on my channel, but I absolutely love her books, really. If you want like something to like suck you in pretty quickly and just something really easy that's gonna, you know, consume you but gonna give you all those good like steamy factors that you look for in a book, she's awesome to read. I read this straight after I read After. Now that I've like read so many more like taboo crazy stories, the whole step sibling thing doesn't even bother me anymore. So Stepbrother Dearest is about this guy and this girl who are step siblings, but they haven't been step siblings for that long and they don't really know each other, and their parents haven't been married for that long either. They end up moving in together with their parents and having to live with one another for a little bit. The stepbrother in this book is just a typical bad boy. He smokes cigarettes, he sleeps around, he's a bit of a bully to her. Like they have this like really intense kind of chemistry, and she's like trying to become his friend, but he keeps like shutting her down. I don't want to give too much away about this book because I think with this one you have to go in a little bit blind. All you really need to know is their step siblings, and he's a bit of a fuckboy, okay? He's what you would call a fuckboy. My next recommendation is Seranading Heartbreak by Ella Fields. I have not read a lot from Ella Fields. This is the only book that I've read from her, and I loved this so much. And she's an Australian author, which I love. A lot of the books that I read, they're all American authors. So I love that this is an Australian author. This book is a little bit more on the emotional side. It's definitely gonna pull at your heartstrings. It's gonna fucking punch you in the gut, bitch. Okay? It's not gonna be like a little bit of an easy, steamy read. Yes, it's steamy as fuck. You know me, bitch. I like good sex in my books, but this one is definitely more of a gut-wrenching, my heart is breaking type of read. It's about this girl that ends up falling for her brother's best friend. Her brother's best friend is the typical bad boy. You know, he has an attitude, he comes from a bad family, he misbehaves, he drinks a lot, he's got some like deep, you know, issues, and she is just drawn to him, wants to fix him, wants to be with him. He ends up going away because him and her brother are in a band and they end up traveling around America performing. He kind of just treats her like shit, I'm not gonna lie. He comes in and out of her life whenever he fucking pleases. You know, he toys with her, he manipulates her, he fucks with her head. This book also has a love triangle in it, which I love. You're getting more than the bad boy, good girl trope in this book because of the love triangle. At a point in this book, this girl has to make a decision between her bad boy first love and a brilliant man that wants to sweep her off her feet. This is my type of bad boy read, bitch. So this is Bullseye by Monica James. So it's about this guy who ends up getting out of prison and he wants revenge. He ended up getting locked up for quite a long time for committing some crimes. Baby, we love a criminal around here. And throughout the book, you're wondering why he wants revenge. What did he do? Like, what's going on? Like, who's he after? Who are these people? It's one of those types of books. He ends up randomly getting this job at this strip club and meeting this girl. Oh, what's her name? Her stripper name's Tiger Lily. She's a good girl. Even though she's a stripper, she's a good girl. Like, she's a single mum. She's just, you know, trying to make that coin to raise her baby. Shit starts happening between the two of them. Between the hot, sexy, spunky prison boy and the stripper. I really enjoyed this book. It has like a bit of a plot twist as well, and the second book came out recently. I haven't read it yet, but I'm pretty sure it's called Blowback. My next recommendation is Bad Habit by Charleigh Rose. I love Charleigh Rose's writing. She just writes so simply and it just like sucks me in so quickly. Again, this is about this young teen who falls for her brother's best friend. something kind of happens between them when she's quite young, and then he kind of disappears from her life. And then when he comes back into her life a few years later, he treats her quite badly. He's a bit of a bully to her. This has some good smutty scenes in it, let me tell you that. For like a teen romance, they kick it off, and they kick it off real well. My next recommendation is Vicious by LJ Shen. I recently read this just last week or the week before. I enjoyed this. It's definitely not my favorite, but I know so many people that love this book. As I said earlier on in the video, I don't really read this type of stuff anymore. It's a bit like PG for me. So Vicious is that typical bad boy rich kid. He comes from a family, you know, that has a lot of fucking money. They don't really like care too much about him. So when he's a young teen, he's just kind of living his best life, sleeping around, doing drugs, beating people up, whatever. He can get away with murder pretty much because of his father and how much money his family has. So this girl who goes to school with him, his parents end up moving in with him because they become like a part of the staff at the house that he lives in. So I'm pretty sure the girl's mum is like the maid, and the dad works in the gardens and shit like that. And he fucking hates this girl. Like, he bullies the fuck out of her, and he knows that she wants him so bad. Skip like 10 years down the track, these two end up like meeting back up again randomly as adults, and he ends up hiring her to work for him. So this is written with dual timelines. So it goes from like when they were teenagers to now when they're adults, and you kind of figure out what's going on, what happened, why did he hate her so much, why, like, what did he do to her to make her hate him so much as an adult, and it kind of goes from there. I'm pretty sure this is a series. I have only read Vicious. I think that's the first book from the series. I don't know if I'm going to read the rest of them because, as I said, I enjoyed this book, but it wasn't my favorite. But I know so many people love this book for this trope. So that's why I'm putting it in this video. I read this series last week, and this is a YA, so young adult series. But fuck, I loved it. So this one's Paper Princess by Erin. I've been reading so much mafia, so many like taboo, forbidden romances and age gap romances. I just wanted something a little bit more lighter and a little bit more fun. And I got it from this book. It's about this girl who loses her mum when she's about 17. Her father and her mother had like a one-night stand, and her dad obviously knocked her mum up and then fucked off. She's left on her own. She's not very wealthy, okay? She starts hustling. She starts like, you know, stripping and doing all types of things to pay like her rent and her schooling. She's forging signatures because obviously her mother's passed away. One day randomly at school, she's called to the principal's office. She walks in and there's this like wealthy man standing there. This guy turns to her and says, "I am now your guardian." He was her father's best friend, and her father actually recently passed away too. So she ends up moving in with this guy, and he has 5 sons. Now this family is super fucking wealthy. Like, they make airplanes or something for like the government. He gives her kind of like an ultimatum. If you stay with me and, you know, go to high school and shit like that, I'll give you $10,000 a month, and I will also pay for your college tuition, so you don't have to worry about that. Moves in with this random dude who's now her guardian and his 5 sons, and they all are very mean to her. They're all like the typical fucking bad boy, rich boy though. Like, you know, these are the type of dudes that just get away with literally anything because their dad just pays whoever off, and they have like a reputation. They're the royals, that's their last name. To roll with them, like, that means you've got status. This has 5 books. I've only read 3 of them. I don't think I'm going to read the other 2 because I'm not really interested, but the first 3 I fucking loved. So there's all my recommendations for good girl, bad boy romance reads. I hope you guys really did enjoy it. As I said, like, I don't have too many in this genre because I don't really read this anymore. Most of the books I read, the age gaps, the forbidden, the taboo, like all of them, mafia, they're all pretty much bad boys. They're pretty, like, they are. But for this category, these are the ones that I picked that I have read that were strictly like bad boy, good girl. If you guys enjoyed this video, you know what to fucking do, bitch. You thumbs it up, you leave a comment. Let's have a fucking chat, alright? Let's have a chat in the comments below. I love having a chat with you guys. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day wherever you are, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!